When Bryan Kohberger, the man who pleaded guilty to killing 4 University of Idaho students, filed a petition to reopen his case, everyone was a little bit confused. Why, after a year into his life sentence, was he contesting his plea agreement? Well, Kohberger claimed it was due to bad counsel and false promises, but could there be more to it than that? In the book Broken Plea, author Christopher Whitcomb argues that there was a hair found in one of the victims' hands that did not match Kohberger's. Investigators only ruled out Kohberger. They did not find out who the hair belonged to, raising questions that maybe someone else was involved. Did Kohberger read Whitcomb's book and think he found a loophole? Joining me now is NewsNation senior producer and author of Murder and the Media, Allison Weiner. Allison, you believe that Bryan Kohberger read this book, Christopher Whitcomb's book, and a big reason why he filed this petition for post-conviction relief is the book. Is that right?
Well, I think there's a lot in the book that actually alludes to different evidence, but most importantly, different evidence that's slowly being uncovered. And Kohberger says that to the New York Times in an interview that there were unanswered questions seemed to multiply with each piece of discovery that is unsealed. So he was referring to, most likely, hair that was found in Ethan Chapin's hand. That hair was discussed, and the fact that the DNA on that hair did not match Kohberger, he was excluded, is something that the defense expert, Mr. Turvey, has said is something that should have been told to Mr. Kohberger. And so I'm thinking that a lot of what is in Broken Plea is a lot of the arguments that we see in the Kohberger documents, in his own motion that he filed himself before he was just appointed counsel, public defender in this case for his appeal.
Okay.
So yes, I do think that there's a connection there. I think it has to do with the defense expert, and I also think it has to do with Broken Plea. Kohberger also refers to Broken Plea in his statement that his his plea was based on faulty premises, were never challenged at trial, and circumnavigated by a broken plea. He even refers to the title of the book.
It seems
official
very important.
Statement, right?
Right. Okay, so
yeah.
Check me on this and walk with me through it. The hair that's mentioned in the book and in Kohberger's petition was not a match for Kohberger, never tested against anyone else. And so do you think investigators didn't pursue it because there was enough evidence to convict without it?
I'm not going to go down that road because I don't know how true any of these allegations are.
Okay.
I just know that there was hair found in his hand, that it was light to dark. There was light and dark brown hair. And, you have to take all of this with a grain of salt. We have a book author. We have a defense expert that's been speaking out who was actually sent a cease and desist letter by the defense claiming that he'd broken the confidentiality portion of his contract with them. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. All I could say is it doesn't seem to be a highly original argument made by Kohberger based on what we've heard from this defense expert and based on what is in Broken Plea and based on the fact that he even refers to Broken Plea in his statement and to contents of Broken Plea in his interview with the New York Times. So I think there's a lot of evidence there that, he didn't come up with it on his own is what I'm saying.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.